Snappy Chat time. This is all about learning and growing together in business, especially if you're a small business owner, a small founder, and you're still building your business. This show might be for you. I'm Christine Bell. I'm a customer strategist, but we're not going to be talking about me today. We're going to be sharing the stage with the beautiful, beautiful soul, Jackie Olmstead. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Jackie, she'll be coming on the show just shortly. And what I love about these chats is that we can learn and grow together, because being in business on your own can be really, really lonely. So this is all about growing and learning together. So with this in mind, I'm going to bring on Jackie and we'll see what we talk about today. I'm super excited to be here. I love to see your comments in the chat, etc. So let's bring it on. Hello, Jackie. How are you?
Hi, I'm fantastic. Nice to see you, Christine, and everybody here.
You too. I don't know how many are here, but we'll see. Maybe they'll show up later. It doesn't really matter, because it's just you and I having a conversation anyway, and people can tune in anytime they want. That's the beauty of these live shows. They stay on our profile, and people can find them easily if they just go into someone's profile. Mm-hmm. So I met you. When did I meet you? And I'll get you to introduce yourself and what you do, because I think you're amazing. So I met you on LinkedIn, quite literally on LinkedIn, through someone else that I met on LinkedIn. And I started following you, and I don't know, somewhere along the line, a couple of years ago, was it a year or two ago? We started maybe it was only a year ago. It feels like a year and a half ago. And we started chatting and having conversation ever so often. So it's great to be friends with you. Now we've got Tommy here, we've got Jackie Holberg here. Great to see you guys. And so Claudia as well. So just going back, it's been so great to get to know you. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do, because I love what you do, but you do many different things.
Oh, thank you. I think we did meet on LinkedIn through, I believe it was Harrison Mayer.
Yeah, I know. I think he disappeared off LinkedIn, though. I don't know if he's running around in India at this point or something like that.
He's actually in Italy right now with a new girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I'm still friends with him. I actually ended up going to a Mexico retreat that he was hosting with his other friend. So so we're a big family. I love LinkedIn. I love that. Also, I met all kinds of people just like you, and I'm so happy I did meet you through him. And you know what? I'll just say so. Immediately, I loved that you were totally authentic in yourself, and all the things that you do and the things that you help people with. I just felt like I could relate to you easily. And when I said, hey, let's have a coffee chat sometime, it was easy, and we had definitely a great camaraderie. So very glad.
We have a lot in common, more than we can talk about on air. I just want, before I get you to introduce yourself, I just want to shout out Mike Asherbronner is in the house, and I want to shout out the Hounds of Business community. I always forget the business part, because there's so many friends in there too. And we've got a lot of friends from there. We got Tommy, we got Randy as well. Randy's in the house, and so that's wonderful. So thank you for being here, guys. So tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you do, because you do many amazing things, and it's healing and it's everything.
Where do I start? Well, so I now call myself a visual sound healer, because
I should put that in there. Never mind.
Well, no, that's okay, because that was a recent kind of culmination brainstorm I had with my creative coach, and she said, I know what you are. And so she said, visual sound healer, and I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect, because yes, so I have a degree in art and graphic design, but to back up, I mean, from when I was 3 years old, I started painting. Like a lot of us do. When we're kids, they throw paints at you and say, hey, kids, start painting or drawing. And
we got Claudia in the house too. She's great at it too. She does some great sessions too. But anyway, back to you.
Yeah, I love her work. Yeah, I've been following her too. And so for me, though, it was an immediate, I took to it right away, and I really enjoyed it, and something that I could share with my mom. My mom was an artist. She was a photographer. She was also a nurse. So, and actually, so the next step in my life journey was when I was 4, we were actually in an airplane accident, a small single engine, double, I don't remember exactly what size of plane, but it was a tiny plane with just our family. We crashed in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'll never forget it. Actually, I remember it very well. And why I mention it, not only because, yeah, it's a big thing event to have happen in our life, but my mom got crushed vertebrae, and from within the year, so within about being 5 years old, my mom was teaching me how to do acupressure to help support her in her pain. And you know what? Her whole life, she had troubles. So my whole life, I helped her with her back. And that's how I started actually the healing journey, literally by just necessity. So the art was, I love it so much. It's just like my soul and everything in me. And then, you have to go to college and earn money. So I went to start in engineering. I ended up changing over to the art degree because that was my heart. My heart. And I immediately went there, and I have a fun story that I talk about when I went to the engineering department, and I said to them, I'm bored. And I went to Penn State, and they just looked at me like they didn't understand what I was saying. And I was like, I don't think you understand. I'm bored, and I don't know what to do, but I think I'm going to go check out the art department. And so I ran over to campus, over to the art department, and I said, I miss art. I love art. I can smell the studio and all the paint and everything in it. And so I changed over to art right away, my first year in college. And from then, so I didn't mean to go into my whole life story, but
that's okay. It's interesting. It's really interesting. So tell us, what do you do now? Because you do a mix of different things, which comes together from all your experiences. I know this.
So now I'm still I do graphic design freelance. So I do enjoy that. I do that for myself. I do that for a travel agency currently. And I am a polarity practitioner. So it's hands-on energy work. It's a combination of both energy and physical, and connecting. We're literally batteries, like the movie Matrix. We are batteries. And so I'm also a Reiki master teacher. So I also brought that along with my energetic learnings. And I also studied sound healing. So I use tuning forks along with my healing work. And so I bring that along, and I do that long distance because of the abilities with the Reiki work.
Yeah.
And so I could not help to remember that I still love my art, and I've been doing my artwork energetically, and I've pretty much been channeling visuals. I have visuals that come to me, and sometimes when I'm on the phone, or just distracted, all of a sudden my right hand wants to draw, and I'll just draw, and it's just it makes me feel happy. And then if I ask the person, I was like, would you like me to show you what I've been drawing? Does it resonate with you? Sometimes in session I will do a drawing after the session of an energy session, and it will always have a correlation to something in the person's life. And the best part of art, which I love, is that it expresses that which we cannot use words for. And sometimes, if you've ever gone to whoever is hearing this, if you've gone to a museum and you just stop in front of a painting, and just something triggers you, something makes your heart just open up, and then all of a sudden you feel really calm.
Yeah.
And so I love that about art, and certainly healing work, because it's extremely grounding and soothing, and helps us get to that place where we can finally hear and listen our calling for our business, because we're all businesses. Even if we're an employee, we still are selling ourselves, right? No matter what we do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which way. We're still selling ourselves, whether you're an employee or you are doing your own business quite literally and have to make money for yourself that way. We're always selling ourselves, which is so true. So with this in mind, we all face challenges in business, yeah? And I know you've gone through some number of challenges as well. So we could talk about any one of them. But tell me what comes to right now. If I just speak to your heart, what comes up? What do you want to? What should we talk about? Because there's people here, and there's so many people watching right now. So it's amazing. So thank you, Randy, Mike, Claudia, Jackie, Shafiq is here as well. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you all. It makes me very happy to be part of this big family. And so if I were to think of one of the biggest, most influencing type of challenges that I had, which was back in 2014, 2015, when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, I went through that process of figuring out how to deal with that and what you do. And by doing that, I kind of sort of accidentally got put into the healing journey of healing my asthma. And the coach I was working with at the time was the one who said to me, Jackie, did you know that you can choose to not have that reaction anymore? Your whole life, you've had asthma, and I was born with asthma. Basically 6 months old, I was diagnosed, hospitalized many times, nebulizers, steroids, all the medicines, even the ones that were like eventually banned and not ever allowed to use anymore. So it was literally the middle of the night. I will never forget, because I said to myself, what if I don't have to have an asthma attack with this cold that usually triggers me? And it was like a challenge to myself that if I could do that, how amazing my life would be from now on, that I will not have to suffer with asthma anymore. And so I had many nights from that moment, several nights where I was face to face with it, with my body and my mind, the old belief system, which was, I have to go into this asthma attack because that is my normal. I have asthma. I'm owning this, and like beating my chest, like this whole time. But it was more like, no, you know what? I do not have to. And that one time, I literally figured out the mental process, and I use all my healing modalities, by the way. It wasn't just a decision. I mean, it started with that, but then it was the change in all the foods that I'm eating, and it was the healing. I used polarity on myself. I used my Reiki on myself. Everything I knew of, I threw at it, and I know that this is totally possible.
And so you changed your asthma, so you don't have it anymore, or reactions anymore?
I don't have it.
Wow.
I have not used an inhaler since 2016.
Wow. So this self-healing is really, really powerful once we tune into our belief systems and we really understand how we can listen to our body, and everyone has a unique body. So I love that. So how did this help you in terms of changing your way forward in business too? Because I guess it feeds straight into your offer as well to some extent.
Yes. So for me, because I've been through it, and because I know for myself, I've proved it to myself that I can help people by showing them, but just showing them, look, let's look at a different scenario. What if you didn't have to have this back pain, whatever it happens to be? What if this tumor that you have, for example, I worked with a beautiful woman who lives in Australia, and what if we can reduce it so you don't have to have surgery to have it removed? Now, just to talking to the body, talking to it as if it's a third person, but it's not a third person, it's still you. And so I have to say, by the way, because I was born with this belief system, basically, it still comes up for me. And sometimes I'll all of a sudden start wheezing very randomly, and I'll just go, okay, stop. And So this is the type of thing that I can help people with, and it's just learning how to hear that moment and to be present in the moment of the body, so that you can hear it start to kick in, whatever the old belief system is. And really, what we have now is it can be old soon. It's we're ever evolving people.
I think you're absolutely right. And I want to touch on this. I'm moving the conversation slightly because I think there's something bigger in this that we actually talked about randomly before we came on. And I think it's a really great segue, because I think once we learn to listen to our body and we listen to our heart more, then we are much more able to evolve with what's going on in our body and our health, etc. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that actually can be used as an analogy for our business too, in terms of our businesses and I'm feeling this right now at the moment very much, and I know you're talking to me about this too. Our businesses right now, I feel like that's a big sort of, if we listen to my heart, if I listen to my body, like you said, there's a big opportunity for change right now. And I don't know what that looks like, but I know that just doing an offer or a product or service out of my head, it needs to come, like you said to me just before, and it has to come from the heart. You have to listen to yourself. And I think that's what you've done with your health, and it's what you do with others in your business. But it's such an important thing for everyone else here as well, in terms of, are we tuning into our heart when we are creating our business? Are we continuing to evolve our business? Or are we staying stuck because we think this must work because this is what I came up with, it must work? But sometimes things work and then they don't work anymore.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It's because we have so much of this out here. I mean, we have the internet, we have teaching, we listen, we purposefully listen to so much out there. And it's all good. There's nothing bad about it. It's just simply that, just recently discovering that I've just been planning all this stuff in my head because this is what I've learned. This is what I was taught. I've had all different kinds of coaches. I've had all different kinds of things and courses and signups and college.
And we kind of do the same in health too, until we start listening to our body.
Yes. And so that if you can just pause and ask yourself, do I really like doing that? Is that something that I really want to continue doing? Like,
does it give me joy? Does it resonate with me? And sometimes it can resonate for a while until it doesn't anymore. That's okay too. This thing of that, once we decide we must stick to it, is actually keeping us stuck, I think, sometimes, rather than actually going, you know what, let's let go of what's not working, including people, things we've been trying to offer, and let's embrace, even though it worked before, and let's embrace the new, even though it's scary, it's the unknown. And I feel like I'm going through this very much at the moment.
Well, the biggest thing I want to say to that, by the way, is if you ask yourself that question, the first thing you hear is your answer. And because your body responds quickly. And especially if you're hearing that, and if you could give attention to that and love and realize that is your inner you. And just as long as you don't like second guess it later, because I do that all the time. I'll say, did I really say that?
That's the head coming back in,
Yeah.
Somebody's just saying yes, we need to develop our intuition, our inner voice, and really trust it too.
Absolutely. 100%.
So I think that's what I'm hearing from your journey in health, which I think is amazing that you've been able to heal yourself. But what I'm hearing is that ability for you to actually stop and go, no, let's listen to my body and let's start communicating with myself, my inner self, cut off the noise and what should be or could be or must be because that's what I've decided, and stop and just go, okay, where am I at right now in my journey with a health, business, etc. Stop and listen is what I'm hearing from you, and then tune in and then be open to change if we have to, and doing things differently like you did with your health.
Yes. And by the way, I'm continuing. So the other health diagnosis that I've had, I've diagnosed with Hashimoto's and also the celiac, of course. And I, by the way, am working on healing those now as well. So.
Wow. Well, you get to practice first. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I did it. The biggest one was the asthma because I've had that for my whole life. And so that's where, like, yeah, it's like this belief system has totally changed with myself.
And we just got some people saying, Randy and Claudia, they're saying, Claudia's saying, yeah, I second guess myself after I make a decision. Randy says he doesn't stop at second guessing. He's having graduated to 3. So I think this is something that's common for all of us. This thing of, we hear a voice, we can hear it, we hear what's really what we're attracted to, but then we start going, am I going to make money on it? Is this going to be successful? Are other people going to like it? So we start questioning it, yeah?
Yeah. And by the way, right, that our bodies will respond. If you're not paying attention, our bodies will respond with illness, disease, as they call it. Our bodies will respond with that response. So that back pain that you have might actually be your body's way of answering your question. If you're not paying attention.
The right direction, you went in a different direction, and you know, it was ideal for you, or what your inner heart, what your soul was telling you. Stephen is saying, yeah, your body speaks to you loudly. I would argue sometimes more boldly than words.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would agree with that.
100%. Well, and if you, because you can break down, for example, like the celiac disease for me is literally digestion and how not being able to process my life. Yeah. And so my intestines just, they basically rejecting everything that I put in my body. And so looking at it metaphysically, that makes sense, because I was going through a divorce. I was going through another relationship after that was a whole nother topic, which I don't need to. But recovering then from that, but just thinking about, no wonder I couldn't emotionally, physically digest my life. And so
it comes out in disease, or disease.
Yeah. So giving myself compassion that, oh, of course I would do that. And it was like my body just like relaxed, like, yeah, really, you know, we've been trying to tell you. What the heck? And you know, it's just finally, you know, compassion for the self. It helps us heal and grow.
And how do we create more compassion? I agree with you, because the inner critic that has been playing in my head for many years was the key thing that I had to change in the last few years, still working on it. But in terms of becoming my greatest supporter, and having compassion for myself. But how do we do it? So what would you recommend in terms of people still hear that critical voice louder than the actual one that is going to be compassionate with themselves, that's going to love themselves the full, that's going to listen and stop and do what the body is asking us to do, How do we develop that more?
Well, that's an awesome question. I love that, because I had so many different voices in my head, and I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm crazy, but not like crazy. And not
crazy. Yeah. I would be boring without it.
Well, and the coach I was working with, this is the time when she was saying to me, you can do these things. But the exercise she gave me, and a lot of people might know about it already, but they call it automatic writing. And what I did was I started writing like a play. I started writing Jackie, and then I would write me, myself, my head talking, and I would write. And I would ask myself questions. And for me, instead of verbal or in my head, writing it down made it unbelievably, I couldn't believe what I discovered about myself while writing, because, by the way, I found myself, I had like 3 or 4 other ages within myself that were wanting to talk, and I would identify each one of them. I can work with people with this. This is an excellent exercise to do, because I was able to sort through each personality, kind of like my 6-year-old, talking to my 6-year-old, and she would say to me something like, I never get to go play, and you know. And I was writing this, and I was like, whoa, I did not know this. Like, what do you mean?
I get a lot of stuff,
And so I would incorporate that. And then I would check back in with her later, like writing, say, was that fun? Was that good? Was that helping?
So did you go and do some playtime then?
Then I would go have playtime. I would just go to the pool or draw. And in that part of me was, I could feel it. It was like opening. Yay, I'm so happy. Oh, I don't care what we draw. Can we just draw? And it really helped me a lot.
So actually giving ourselves more permission to do what's calling to us, to do what we think as adults we shouldn't be doing necessarily, but allow ourselves, within, what's legal, of course, allow ourselves to actually be ourselves, to honor the parts of us from childhood or whatever that weren't heard, weren't seen, weren't allowed to do things, weren't had those experiences they was dreaming of, So the more we can allow our adult self doing those things, it would actually heal our history, so it changes, so it changes our makeup quite literally in our body. That makes it more whole, I believe. Would you say the same?
Definitely whole, because not only are you satisfying your current needs and that kind of thing, but all the ones that came beforehand that you didn't satisfy when you were a kid or whatever. And there's layers. It takes time. It took time for me to sort out these things that I needed for myself, and all the kind of exercises that would help me to grow and heal from the scenarios that I needed to heal from. I mean, there's stuff from my family, my dad, and yes, and I like what you said too. It might not be possible to do some of these things, like, and certainly if you wanted to say things to people who have passed on, you still can have dialogues and situations where you heal yourself with that person, even when they're not with us. So.
Wonderful. We're running out of time now, but I love this conversation, and I know we could continue this forever. And anyone who hasn't caught up or know Jackie yet, I highly recommend that they get in touch with you and spend some time talking to you, because I love our conversations offline, or I said they are online, but not on live. So thank you so much for your time. Where can people, just as we finish up, where can people reach you? And I've obviously got your details here. But feel free to put anything in the comments that you got coming up, anything you want to share with people, feel free to do that as well. But just very briefly, how can people reach out to you? And you got anything coming up you want to share?
Well, at the moment, I don't have any events. I will be doing probably an art webinar, a free art webinar at some point here. But earthmamaliving.com is my website. I'm, of course, as you guys know, I'm on LinkedIn. You can always send me a message there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and those are the big ones. Alignable.com, by the way, is a really amazing platform. So
wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. Any last words you want to share before we finish up now in the next minute?
Just please be gentle with yourselves. Take it slow and easy, and listen. But yes.
To the heart. Don't, and stop second guessing it. It can be hard, sometimes to not second guess and start coming back into, oh, I should be, because that seems to make sense. So listen to the heart and intuition. Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone. Tommy, Randy, everyone, Stephen, who's there as well, Stephen Ng from New York. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you all. We're going to finish now, but feel free to reach out to Jackie afterwards. Thank you, Randy. Thanks so much. This is an awesome conversation. Thank you.